Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a very short tutorial on how to turn your sketch from something like this into this. So it's gonna be really quick and we are just gonna have fun for this one. So first you will have your sketch already. So this is your rough sketch that you did with your sketch brush, and for sketch brush usually I use natural sketch and smudge brush. This is available in most of my brush pack, and this brush is easy to use because you can sketch with it, and when you slant it will get fatter and you can use it to shade. Also, if you use it to color, you can see that as you color along it gets brighter and brighter, so it's easy for you to shade that way. But if you do not want to use this brush, I also have another brush from my sketch brush pack. The brush that you can use for sketching would be called the sketch hard brush, because this one when you use lightly you can see that it's lighter, so you can just use this to shade, and when you press with a higher pressure you can use it to sketch. So this is what you can use to sketch. You can either do a line art like this without any shading. So like for example, the face does not have any shading, it's just a simple line art, but the hair has some shading. Or you can use the sketch brush to shade the entire face. But there are a few requirements for you to use this workflow. So the first requirement is you have to use just one color. You don't change the color, it's just one. So all I use is black, and if I want a lighter color I would just softly sketch, and if I want a darker color I would press harder. Okay, so this is how you control the value of your sketch. So if you find that you are unable to control your shading, for example this entire part is black, right, and I do not want to slowly shade the entire thing with this tiny little brush, it's easier if you just do the line art first, which is why I've opted for the line art option. So mine has like a little bit of shading, but mostly it's just line art with very subtle shading and sketching. So this is something simple that you can do, and then after that you can add the colors for this portrait. So two choices, either you use the sketch brush to sketch and shade or just to sketch the outlines. But what you cannot do, you cannot paint the values in. So for example, you cannot use black for the hair and then you think that it's gonna go lighter in the skin, so you go and change to white instead, and then you use gray, and then you stack darker gray to shade and you paint this way. This is not going to work. What we want is a transparent sketch, not an opaque one. So you do not have any values in your painting, because if you have this and you press alpha lock, when you paint over you're gonna lose everything and you are gonna end up with nothing. So what you want is to have something like this which is transparent, so that when you have alpha lock turned on you can freely change color and the details is locked. All the lines are there, all the shadings are there. So do not use your values in the beginning, just use a single value to sketch. Either you use black or dark blue, any color, but as long as it's transparent and it's just one color, one value. Then we'll be ready to go into the next step. I've hidden all my layers into this group, so ignore everything below this group. So what we want to do for the next step is to make a layer at the bottom, very simple, and then just use any brush to fill in the area that we are painting. So we just want to make sure we get everything, and then we want to clean the edges up. So get your eraser and just erase and get a clean outline so that we have a working shape for us to go to the next step. So once you have a working shape like this that is roughly there for you to edit and to paint, what I want you to do is to make a layer above this one. So once you have this new layer above the shape that you will have ready for your coloring, you are going to make a clipping mask, okay? And for this clipping mask, you are going to put color. Then for the shape that you have just painted, you are going to use a color from this palette. I've created this palette called Stacking Skin. So this Stacking Skin palette has a gray. So this is the gray color here, and we are going to drop it into the blue. This is the shape that you have painted, and the new layer is the clipping mask under the blending mode color, and this is where we'll be painting. We will be painting using the round brush one from my Portrait Brush Pack 2022, and if you do not have that, it's okay because Procreate already has this brush. Is under painting and somewhere here. I might have taken it out from here, but the brush is from here. It's under painting and it's called round brush. Just look for this brush. Now, how do we use this palette? This palette is very easy to use. It is all light colors, and the rule is you always use from the top bar first, the first layer, because it goes from yellow to red. And avoid these ones because they are all dark colors, okay? If you need lighter colors, you are going to use 1, 2, or 3, okay? Then the colder colors are at the bottom, and then from here onwards, yellow to red is the exact same thing as the above. It's just that they are very much more vibrant if you need them. So first step, always use these first, then after that cool them down or with greens, and if everything is too dark, use the lighter ones. If everything is too gray, use the vibrant one at the bottom, okay? Then after that, if everything is too light, you can use darker ones, but try your best. Do not use these 4 colors right from the get-go. Always use them nearing the end of your painting, okay? So we're just gonna put this one side, and let's begin. We are going to just stack the colors in because this layer is just for applying color. I can be free with my colors. If you need red, you are just going to apply red. Most of the time you can see here, you can't tell the difference because the colors are so close to each other, but when you put them down, you will be able to tell the difference. Then if you need blue, you can just start stacking in blue. So this is Wednesday, and we are going to have some purples at the bottom. So we are just gonna straight block that in, and then for the lips as well, we are going to block all the reds in. For the eyes, block it in first. It's always important to get all your oranges and your reds first. Then after that, go in to the eyes and stack in your grays. The palette is very easy to use. So once you have something like this, you can judge for yourself. Because this layer is just one value and many different colors and chroma. So it doesn't interfere with how you see this portrait at the moment, so you can clearly see what color you want and you can change accordingly. So now we can use the more vibrant color to start stacking in more vibrant colors. The idea is to get as close to where you want to be right from the get-go. Don't wait until the end, because with every layer you're actually making things darker. So if in the beginning you are already hesitating to try to get the correct color, you are going to end up with wrong colors, okay? Okay, once you have something like this, you are just going to go to the smudge brush. You can either use natural smudge or use the round brush. This is a very difficult brush to use when it comes to blending, but you can still try it and use it. So you're just pushing the paint around so that they get to where they are supposed to be and to soften certain edges. You don't have to be precise for now. Just be quick, because this workflow is meant for you to test things, meant for you to try out experiments and try different color palette. once you have something like this, you are ready to go to the next layer. So just merge down to go to the next layer. Okay. So before you go into the next layer, I want you to duplicate the sketch and make sure the bottom one is in multiply mode, and then just put it in a lower figure, maybe like 50, and then the top one, put it to color burn, and then drop this one. Now make sure that the alpha lock is checked, and then now put in your favorite color. So let's say you want this to be your favorite color, and it's just an orange, but you can see it's like subtle. So this is how you would set this up. Okay, now we are ready for the second layer. So for second layer onwards, we are going to be working in multiply mode, which means we will be stacking shadows. We will still be using the same brush, the round brush, and using the same palette, and same rules. Just use the tones above and avoid the darker ones and the vibrant ones. Okay, we all know that the bloods is going to be in purple, so I'm just going to immediately drop in the color blue to the whole painting. And because the color is being applied to the whole canvas, so we're just going to click on this and go to clipping mask. So this would actually clip it to the layer below. Okay, and now we are also going to erase the face, and we are going to continue dropping in colors. And for the neck, I'm just going to correct the color immediately. So I'm just going to correct it back to brown by layering a color that I think would make it brown. So just try the color. It's going to be like using watercolor or markers. So it's going to be pretty easy and very forgiving, because you're not doing like a harsh change. It's just a minor change and you're doing it step by step. So I'm just erasing the blue away. You can see that I'm not very worried about edges right now. I'm just stacking in colors to build the shadow. And I'm going to use some yellow to start building. If I see that the color is a bit off, I'm going to change the color a little bit. Okay, I want a dark red for her lips. And then for the nose, I want to gradually go redder, but if I use this, it's going to be very dark. So I'm using the lighter reds. These ones are perfect if you just want to add color without going very dark immediately. Then for areas where you need the value to change, you can just use the usual color. Okay. I'm just putting things where I think they should be. I'm not worried about the shape yet. I just need to get them on the canvas. And then of course the cheeks and here. Gray is when you want to get things darker but you don't want to change the color. So then you can use gray. Okay, once you are ready, you can evaluate if the colors are nice, if it's correct, if you want to change anything. Remember that if you think that it's too dark, you can use the lighter color to stack shadows. Once you're ready, just blend to push. So the key is just to learn how to use the palette. Other than that, it's really easy and it's more like blending and pushing. It's very similar to traditional techniques where you are just blending and layering colors. So once you're done with your color pushing and your blending, you are going to end up with something like this. So the color is a lot more subtle already because of all the blending, and there is one new layer, and you can tell that the output is very similar to markers. And I have erased some highlights here already, so if I just erase more, you see I can get more highlights that way. But I only erase those that are very important, and things like this I have not done yet. So it's just the important ones, and you can see that I'm not even following the line because I was just testing and trying things out. So you will actually just continuously add layers like this until the end. That's it. It's as simple as that. But of course, I will demonstrate the rest of the workflow. For the next layer, usually I would like for things to get more realistic. So make another layer, make sure it's on multiply, use clipping mask if you have to. This time, when you start, don't drop a cold color in. Make sure you drop a warm color in and see where you get. So pick one warm color and see if it's something you like. Okay, so this is my warm color that I've chosen, and then for the rest I'm just gonna stack it in quickly. So I know the bottom is gonna be purple looking, so I'm just again erasing parts that I don't want any more shadow first, so like the color, and also I want to keep the center part quite bright ready, also the forehead and some of the eyebrow. So make sure that you are actually starting a light and shadow shade. Okay, like this is good enough. So if you think that the shadow shape like this is correct, alpha lock it first to keep the shadow shape before you continue stacking. Like now I would want to continue stacking for the hair color. Okay, and I want parts of brown this side. So this leaves us with the red face. So the red face needs to be tamed. So let's recolor it so that it's not as jarring. I'm just picking the lighter colors to drop in areas that I don't think should be so dark. So this is actually an exercise to train your eyes so that you start seeing colors for what they are. For the neck, I'm choosing to go dark. Like I'm picking one of the four that I told you never to use, and I'm just stacking it in right away. So once you're ready and you think this is the color, you are going to just swipe down and turn off alpha lock so that you can access this part that you erased, because previously you were painting within the shape. So now you can still edit these parts. Okay, so once you have this, simple, blend, push and blend. So for the upcoming tutorial, I'm actually going to show you how you can create your own stacking palette, which is this one, in order to create portraits in other color palette. Like if you want something lighter, more ethereal, more pastel pink, you can do just that. Okay, so for my version of Wednesday's portrait, I wanted her lips to be really dark. So this is not dark enough and it's a bit orangey for me. So I'm just gonna tweak it. So I picked the darkest red. I know I need it to be darker. So darker means we are going downwards, right? And I don't want it to be this color, this too orange. So orange is here, meaning red should be going to the left, crossing over to here. So let's just push it all the way here first and see. So this is a bit more red, but it's not red enough. So I'm just crossing over to the other side. Yeah, this is the color I want, but I need it darker. So I'm going to just push it down. But I don't want to go near this area because this area is more gray. Everything on the left side is more gray. You can see here it's more gray. Everything towards the right is more vibrant. So we're gonna go slightly right and down. So this is how you can change color from the palette. So if you want to change color for the rest of the parts, this is how you can do it. And at the end of the layer, I will have something like this. So we can see that things are getting very dark already. So meaning that the next layer that we do is going to be the last. Most likely the last, okay? So when you know that you're hitting like layer 3 already, like the third multiply layer, you've got to aim to finish up your shadows and your shading and your blending and everything, okay? So you can still use the same palette, same setup, and if you're finishing things up, you're also starting to use brushes that are smaller in size in order to do all the gradients that you want to do. And notice that I did not fill the entire layer with a color this time because there is actually a lot less shadows that I want to do. And even for the hair, I am leaving bits of it empty. And we are going to finish up the cheeks as well, so make sure that all the pinks that you are looking for gets done this round. Make sure that the color changes is what you want, and don't miss anything out. And make sure that the forehead is not so bright. And even for the chin, you are deciding if you want it darker or not. So I am putting in like a frame. And then for the nose as well, we are quickly deciding. As usual, once you get what you like, you stop working and you start blending. So you can notice that the workflow is actually separate into two segments. You are placing the color into the correct location, and then after that, you are working with blending. So two different workflows that requires different objectives, so you don't really mess up your mojo that way. Like, you won't over detail or start freaking out because you got the wrong color, or you start freaking out because your detail is not looking right. Each time that you're working, you're just focusing on one objective. Okay, so once you have something like this, if you zoom out far enough, you can tell that it's working already. Then you can start blending. Okay, so for this last layer, I'm usually blending slower so that I can start fussing around with the shapes. But I'm not very concerned with the shape, because usually I would just stamp everything down like this and repaint a little bit after, so I don't get caught up in the details so early in the process. Some edges I just leave it hard if it's not disturbing the modeling. Like you see right here from far, the nose is not symmetrical, so we need to solve that. So I'm just going to erase this part to rebalance back the nose so that it's straight again. So this is what I have after this layer. And right now, it's just a matter of finishing up, because I really want the clothes to be dark, because Wednesday's clothes is pretty dark and purple, so I need to stack the purple, but this purple is not reaching the darkness I want, so I'm just doing this special layer for the clothes. So once I have something like this, I'm going to make a mask. I'm just going to go through my brushes and look for a stamp. So I have this brush called Autumn Leaf brush. I'm just going to erase. So I have like some pattern for the clothes, and it doesn't look as flat. So now I just did this to get the painting to go to a complete value stage where everything is the correct value already. Now, lastly, the reds is still incomplete to me, so we need a last layer to put in all the colors that we want to put in. So the best area to put that is here above the first layer, because this is a normal layer and then the rest are multiplied in shadow mode. So we're just gonna add one layer here, turn this to multiply again, and this is where we add our final colors. But because we are mostly adding color only, we are not adding any more shading, so we'll be using mostly the light colors to add more reds. And if I find that it's not red enough, I'm gonna go in and push it towards right. That's gonna get it more vibrant, and I want it more pink, so this should be here. If it's too dark, I'm just pushing it back to the left. I'm just pushing it left and right to get colors for the bottom dial, and here left to right if I need darker. Okay, then once I'm done, I'm just going to smudge it out for this last coloring layer. Okay, now let's review what we have so far. Let's go back to the sketch layer here, which is on this color, and we are going to just change the color a little bit to see if we can get something different. Okay, I like this color, so we are gonna stay here. Once you have a color that you like, you can see that it's completely different. Tweak this a little bit. You can see that there are a lot of artifacts because of how fast I've painted, and depending on how fast you have painted, you might have artifacts like these as well. So the easiest thing to do is just to create a layer above everything else and clean up. So to clean up, use your favorite brushes. I usually use the dry square brush, and I just pick colors and paint over to clean up. So the reason why we have two colors is we can choose to pick the lighter one if we want to. But make sure that whatever we do, we don't leave any traces behind. Like, no one can tell that that is our workflow. That is the secret to all art, so that no one can figure out our workflow. And I'm just gonna do the same for the rest of the hair. Like for here, I'm just gonna clean up all the hair strand, the shadow that I want, just using the sketch brush. And then for here, we have to clean it up because it's just way too messy. It's gonna be easier this time because everything is already done for you. All the colors there, just pick it and repaint. Even for the eyebrow, just recolor it. So just continue touching up your artwork until you reach a point where you think it's finished. And now we are going to put the highlights. So I've discovered like the best highlights brush. Okay, look at this. Go over to my impasto brush pack, go to round thick paint D, pick the first one orange, and then for the other one leave it at white. So let's say I want to do highlights for this part. So this one I'm just going to push to blue and then leave it at blue, and when I do the highlight, it's going to be like that. So this is the highlight, and if I want to change the color, I can just change it like that to match the color that I want to paint. So for example, I think that this is too bright. If it's too bright, I'm just going to dial down the white a little bit until it matches like the value that I want. See, so now it's matching already, and you can actually just use this to do the highlights, which is very easy. So like for here, I'm picking the pink and I'm making sure it's really pink, and then for the gray, I'm picking one of these. Okay, let's see what do I get now. So now we can tweak slightly. Okay, so this is very organic because it is changing all the time, and it has like a fringe, which is very natural. So you can use this method to create all the highlights that you want using the round thick paint D. You can also use the liner smooth thick paint D because this is so 3D. It's gonna give a very nice effect. So there we go, give this a try. It's a very simple way of coloring your sketches. And for my upcoming tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a custom color version like this. So you are actually going to learn how to customize the stacking skin palette to create your own color palette in order to try out more color combinations. So I'll see you next time. Bye!